Welcome to Mick and the Psychic, where we leave no stone unturned as we explore all things outside the apparent physical realm.
There is no intent to teach or make you believe or disbelieve anything. It is just a safe space to listen and explore with us.
So for this next episode, you have permission to open your heart and mind as you join myself and Xavier on this deep dive into the unknown.
Tree and the roots are coming out of your feet and connecting you to the earth. You can do it in any way you want. Again, there's no rules as long as your intention is that you're connecting. If you just practice that every day, you can spend 10 seconds, you can spend 10 minutes, whatever you like. Just practicing it every day will awaken your intuition so much more.
This week, I'm really excited to have a guest on my own personal show. It's Optimistic Xavier. So you're the co-host.
And I'm excited to introduce my guest. I was going to
go. All right, it's just us this week, which is what I'm trying to say, because we're talking about a really interesting topic that comes up from a lot of people that watch our show and listen to our show, and always comes up with me as well because I'm always intrigued. There's a couple of things, like what makes a psychic and how do you know you're psychic or a little bit psychic, or
maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline, or like, do you
that's
have to
not one of our sponsors, so I just want to start by just saying we do not endorse the use of Maybelline. We don't know if they do or don't test on animals. I'm not saying they do, but I'm just saying I don't know if they do or they don't.
I don't think they...
Oh, who knows?
All right.
Yeah, like, are you born with it, or is it something that comes up? So a topic I've always wanted to talk to you about, and with these sorts of topics, I like to record them so others can enjoy it as well.
Yeah, why not?
No, we're all really interested. So it's going to go to you a lot, but
okay.
Can we just start? Like, we started as a psychic. So you were born a psychic and you were able to move things around the room when your mum gave birth with you. Did that freak people out, or did that not happen? Did I just fabricate that?
That sounds really cool story. Like, yeah, I made my mum float and yeah, nothing, nothing like that. And I must admit, I hear when other psychics like me advertise themselves, I do hear or read plenty of them say natural born psychic.
Yeah.
And I go, like, what do you mean by that? Aren't we, like, I know I learned, and so many people learned later in life, and I realized that the reason I learned later in life is because I'm supposed to teach others that they can too. You don't have to be natural born and be seeing things. Because everyone says, oh, I get that question asked a lot, like, oh, so did you always see things when you were young? Like, what's your story? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm boring. I don't remember. I remember having like a guide or something, but other people have, and they have been doing things from a really young age, and that's their journey and how they were supposed to learn. Like, they needed to do it from a young age to reflect back on.
Yeah.
Not everybody. Anyone can learn, I believe, to be psychic.
So so you think like that's a particular reason why potentially you weren't born with obvious psychic abilities. I'm sure you look back on certain things and go, oh, wow, that's interesting. But there was nothing consciously obvious growing up that you were
not obvious. It's not weird things happening or seeing spirits that I remember. But as I was learning, I did like a course.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I teach a course. So I did a course after I'd had all my kids. I was like 30, 31. I was learning massage therapy, and I realized, because I always wanted to help people with my hands. Like, I felt like I did good, and I always got compliments when I give shoulder massages. And I realized after I learned massage and meeting spiritual teachers and things that there was way more to it. And so there's other things I could do with healing with my hands. So that's how, and I started learning. And then as I was learning and doing this course, I realized some of these things I'd already been doing and hadn't even realized that that's something special or different or unique at all. Like lots of different bits and pieces. I'm just remembering little things like drifting, like sitting on my bed as a kid and daydreaming, like I'm meant to be cleaning my room, but then time just like 4 hours had gone past and I felt like 5 minutes. And then mum would come in and go, you're meant to be cleaning your room. What have you been doing all day? I'm like, I don't know. What time is it? It's dinner time. What do you mean? I've just been eating for 5 minutes. Like, so did I go anywhere? was I meditating? Like, what happened?
So at the time, you would have just been like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't know what I've been doing, or maybe I slept, or whatever." But
Yeah,
looking
but I was
back
sitting
now,
up
you're
the
like,
whole time, like just sitting there on the
"You
edge of
don't
my
sleep."
bed,
Yeah.
daydreaming. So maybe that's why other kids daydream. Also, I know. Oh yeah, that's right. When I was, does this happen to you? Because I've asked other people, and no one yet that I've asked says they do the same thing. Surely other people do. So when someone else is talking, I say the next word they're going to say in my head before they say it. Like always, like I always know the rest of the sentence like before it happens. And so sometimes then I interrupt accidentally, like what they're about to say, because I'm sort of impatient because I already know what they're saying. So
You've already finished the sentence in their head.
So I actually say it out loud. I don't mean to do that, but I say it out loud what this said, kind of to hurry them up, but also because I already know what they were saying. And it's like I'm predicting, and so when I'm reading, I can read really fast because I also know what the rest of the sentence is.
Okay.
So I kind of speed read as well. Yeah. Does that happen to you?
No. So no, not at all.
I thought that was normal and everybody did that. And
yeah, right. So that's something that you did as a kid as well?
Yeah.
Or something, okay.
Growing up. So I remember that growing up that I was always sort of emptying things people would say, but yeah, but I just don't remember. Little things happen like with spirits and a couple of little things. Like what else? When I was young, I had a cousin. I was younger than this cousin. She passed away when she was 4 of cancer. And that was just sad. And I was only about just walking or 2 at the time, something like that. And I remember when I was a bit older, a couple of years older, I'd visited my uncle and auntie's house with my family, and her name was Brooke, and so I'd gone. Her room was still her room; they hadn't changed it yet. I wanted there to play. I wanted to go and investigate. I'm poking around because I was bored, and I got distracted. I went into her room to play, and I was in there for a while, and I came out, and they said, "Oh, where have you been?" I said, "I was playing in Brooke's room," and they said, I remember them saying, you wouldn't, because it was night, they said you wouldn't have been able to see anything. It would be pitch dark because the light bulbs, like there's no light bulb in the light.
Because they weren't using the room or whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
so they didn't
like
change
it must
it.
be blown and they didn't replace it. I said, no, I see. And I was telling them the things in the room, and because I wouldn't have been in her room before because I was too young, like when she passed. And they said, that's weird. So they walked down with me and my parents as well. We all walked down the hallway, and I went to turn the light on and there's no light. But when I went in there, I turned the light on and I could see.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Do you remember seeing?
Believe me, no one said anything, but I saw her toys on her bed and I was doing things in.
Do you remember seeing Brooke or having any kind of?
No, she just obviously wanted to share her room with me and let me see her stuff.
Oh, wow.
It was about the age she was. I would have been her age when I went in there. Yeah, but I caught up a couple of years later. So that was cool looking back on that.
Wow.
Yeah, but I just got told, then I was little, so I just thought I imagined it, but then I reflected back and remembered when I was old, I thought, no, I definitely saw her room. So things like that. That's about it.
So there are things though where you look back and put some pieces together, knowing what you know now on a kind of psychic level, not just that you're older, but
gravitate to me
that
and
you
ask questions, advice. As a teenager, I'd get asked questions that were above my pay grade, but for some reason everyone always come to me and ask, and I don't know how I knew the things. I just realized later that that's claircognizance, which is this inner knowing. It's like, how would I know that? Oh yeah, my parents would have disagreements with me all the time. That when you talk around the table having dinner, and I would say some kind of fact about something or knowledge, and they'd say, where'd you learn that from? Like, where'd you read that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just know. And I'll get into like arguments because it's like, no, that's rubbish. I'm like, I know, that's it. This is true. I can't think of an example. It happens so often though. And if I didn't read it in a newspaper or something, because no phones then.
Pre-Google,
Yeah, pre-Google, they'd be like, you couldn't possibly know it. And I'm like, I remember getting upset and yelling when I get so frustrated, saying, I wouldn't just make it up. I'm telling you because I know. Like I wouldn't lie. So I get really upset. And then I realize now that's claircognizance, is that inner knowing. Information just pops in your head. So again, yeah, that's something else. I just had no idea. I get frustrated with people that wouldn't believe me, that I just would spit out facts, it doesn't help me when I play quiz games or.
Damn, I was about to say, do I drag you on to the next
pressure? It's the
pub
time,
trivia night?
a time limit, like quickly answer. I'm no good at it. Give me plenty of time and I can answer you, but I don't like doing it like that.
Could be fun to get a whole lot of psychics together at a trivia night and just get them to get in the zone and like just focus their energy in and maybe channel.
You know, more relaxing environment on better, but others I'm sure can do it quick. Who knows? You know, we've all got different skills. So
no, just get you to like invite, I don't know, Marlon Brando or something. You've had a chat with him. So invite him along. So then when it comes to like the movie stuff, you can just get the answers from him.
Yeah, why not?
You know, people could channel like a different.
And like this, if it's for a good prize, I wouldn't get the answers because it's not for the greater good, because then I'd be cheating. Unless it's against other psychics for fun, maybe only psychics.
Yeah, but that doesn't test anything because everyone's claiming to be psychic.
True. But yeah, universe, that's why people don't, you know, that's why we don't always win the lotto and know all the numbers and all that kind of stuff, because is it for the greater good or are you cheating the system? I think that's how the universe works. We love interviewing leaders from different walks of life about all things outside the apparent physical realm.
And the one constant is that these phenomena are transmitted through energy.
So we've teamed up with Subtle Energy Science to bring our listeners energetically encoded technology you can use on your phone, laptop, computer, or tablet.
Turning your device into a powerful personal quantum energy tool. We're not the creators, nor are we qualified enough to explain it, but there is a mind-blowing number of scientific studies available on their website.
So what are we qualified enough to explain?
Yeah, not a lot, but we've tried it ourselves. We've blind tested it on unsuspecting loved ones and we know that it works. That's why we're so excited and pumped to promote this technology.
There are stacks of products, but for July only, we've got 20% off Pineal's sleep support with promo code MATP-861. We've been using the Pineal sleep support over the last few weeks.
And we've noted deeper sleep and at times profound dreams. So have a pen and paper by your bed.
Link is in the notes. Back to the show.
So as much as being a psychic and having psychic abilities, is there like a law of nature that says you can't screw things up?
I think so. Because you think, how come really good people who manifest things and would do great things with, say, money, if they won Tatsoto, imagine you think, oh, you know, you might think, oh, I would do so many good things. I'd help people. I'd look after people. I'd start a big charity. I'd do all this wonderful stuff. How come I don't win? And there's other people that just squander it, lose it in gambling. There's drug mules out there making packets. Why? Why, if it's not for the greater good? It doesn't really make sense. I know my fiance questions that one all the time. He's like, doesn't make sense. So I think it's part of the whole story of why we come here and what our lessons are. Is it about learning that you don't actually need money? Can you do things in a different way? Or are those people that are rolling in it but doing things in a negative way and hurting people, like with drugs and things, selling it to children, for example, and that's how they make their money, are they actually happy and living a great life without guilt? And, you know, are they fulfilled? Is it just the mansion that they're in makes them happy? Like, you know, there's got to be more than just the material stuff that they're happy from. Like, are they happy?
Yeah.
So do they die early or young because they get into mission? You know, like it's just why are we here? The lessons you need to learn from. So there must be more to it. And that's why we don't all manifest those really big things all the time, because it's not for the greater good of your lessons that you're supposed to go through.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a curse. They say with the lottery, it can be a curse for so many people because there's people that don't understand how money works. So, you know, if you haven't been able to build up and make this money, it's going to be hard to be able to keep it. And there's people, who do you trust? There's a whole lot of different things. So a lot of people that just kind of win money don't actually know how to use it and can't keep it. It's interesting that I think a couple of people have pointed out the scenario where if they evened out all of the money and everyone had the same amount of money, within 5 years, the top richest people in the world will be the top richest people in the world again. And the poorest people in the world will be the poorest again, because they actually understand how money works.
Hopefully the ones that don't understand money use some of that money to go and invest in a course to learn how to use it.
Yeah, but they still end up in the middle. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So they were in the middle anyway. So it's interesting, like with money,
Mhm.
if being psychic is a cheat code on the game of life, then you should be able to just make money of whatever. But if being a psychic isn't a cheat code on life, psychic's just another element to life,
Yeah,
then you're not going to be able to just win the game, because it's
that's
not
right.
a game you can win anyway.
So that's kind of like my answer when everyone,
I like
every
that.
get someone
Makes
cheap.
sense.
So what are the lotto numbers? I'm like, well, if I knew how to do that, I wouldn't like be here right now.
I've had people ask me, "What? Oh, you're a hypnotherapist. Great. How come you don't know the lotto numbers?" So I don't know that people that ask that question actually know what they're asking anyway. I don't think.
How would you get access to? If you
I don't know. Great question. Yeah, we're not all created equal. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Intellectually, we're not all created equal either. So
one of our guests, remember Anna, a few weeks ago, Anna Peters, she said that she said a bunch of numbers and her mum's wrote them all down. And then she put them in the lotto, and out of 6 numbers she got that night, 5 of them were correct. And she didn't know they were lotto. So she nearly got it. So maybe they weren't supposed to win the jackpot, but it was enough having those exact 5 numbers that she said were the same as the lotto numbers that came out to teach a lesson about, wow, she can actually channel.
That was actually a really funny story, because that was where her mum wasn't really into the, like, she understood the psychic bit and thing, but never really encouraged it. But she knew that Anna had some psychic stuff. So Anna said she had a dream about numbers, and her mum went really serious and bragging, what are the numbers? The exact numbers. So she wrote them down. I love that. So
and
yeah, when
push, got there, so it's like a bit of a lesson in there, but
push comes to shove,
the
mum knew. The mum's like, you are psychic, but don't, anything else. She was just like, oh, you're being silly, sit down. Numbers, what?
It made her believe enough so they could have more confidence.
Believed enough to make money. Yeah. Interesting.
So I think it's used for that kind of thing, but
So it can happen if it's meant to happen, but we don't know if it's meant to happen or not. So if everyone won the lottery, it wouldn't work.
If I knew all the answers to all that stuff, I'd be the guru of all gurus. Like
So a guru is just a teacher that is like sheds light within another person. So it's like the Western use of guru. It's like, that's like a hypnotherapist knowing the numbers.
Sorry, didn't mean to offend people who follow guru.
So offended. So offended. Hilarious. Okay, so having said that though, like, I don't think we're all created equal, which is a good thing. And I don't think that there's levels either. I just think we're not all the same, which is great. So does that mean that some people, I hear a lot when people say, look, everyone's psychic, which I think is kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's partly true, that everyone's got the hardware to be psychic, but not every computer's a gaming computer. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't quite have the RAM to run all of the programs. But technically it's a computer and you can play a game on it. It's just, you're not going to be able to play, the latest, okay, I don't know computer games. So got out, I'm done. But so with being a psychic though, are there some people that are just, let's be honest, more psychic than others? Like they've got a better operating system to be psychic?
I think it's not about being more psychic. It's, are you meant to be a psychic in this life? Okay. Is that part of your journey?
Okay.
I do, but like you said, the computer, we all can. So there's, people will be drawn to psychic stuff. So examples, and I was just writing some examples down earlier because I'm creating an online course to teach what I know. So some examples, and I'm going to read them because these are things that I've noticed over the years.
You're prepared for this. This is amazing. This is the first time you've ever prepared for a podcast, and I didn't even know about it. I love it. Okay, go.
But I just wrote it down now. So of course I was working on this just before we recorded, so that was perfect timing.
That's why. I knew there was a catch. There's no way you organised anything.
These are some of the examples, because these are things that over all these years that people have always said to me, and so they asked me if they're psychic or they could learn, or like how long have I been, or all those kind of things, and they're not sure. So one of them is, have you been told, this is a top one because this is the one I get the most, have you had a card reading before, Tarot Oracle, where the healer, psychic like me, has said to you, wow, you have psychic potential, or you could learn this, or you could do what I do.
Okay.
Number one. So they're not. And the skeptics are going, yeah, they just say that. So you make
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
I knew it. So stop it. So it's not just skeptics, but it's people just in general going, yeah, they're just saying that. It's because, so you think about people that are interested in this stuff, and I'll say just stuff in general, go get readings and go to spiritual fairs and are interested in astrology, numerology, curious about reincarnation, wonder if there's angels or guides. If you even wonder about aliens or other planets, you know that, or you just have this feeling that there's just more out there. There's got to be more. It's too cool that we're walking on a planet like sideways, because that's where Australia is, if you're not a flat earther, but it feels like you're upright. Like there's just so many things. If you've got, do you have crystals? If you've been drawn to collecting some crystals, all that kind of stuff. If you have any of those, one or more, you've probably done this before. You've been a psychic or a mystic or a herbalist or a witch or some kind of healer in some other life you've had. So you've got that little innate knowing or curiosity
or spark of interest.
And then you go and act on it, or you get little tidbits or little coincidences, and this kind of stuff all matches up. So that means that part of you is trying to get you to be interested in it and show that in this life. So that's part of your journey while you're here. Is like, are you going to take those steps and go meet the right mentor to teach you, or take the right class, or go use some of those modalities for your own healing and spiritual growth, and just learning about yourself and self-love and all those wonderful things. So that's how it works. So, but not everyone's supposed to do that. It's not their turn in this life to go be interested in that kind of stuff. They're doing just science or some other modality, like there's nothing to do with any of that stuff, and that's totally okay, because if we're all the same, what are we doing here? That great. We need practical stuff done, as well. We can't all be psychics. That'd be a bit weird, but we can all use our intuition to make decisions and learn psychic abilities that help you with your life and help you be grounded and centered and help others and understand people better. There's so many other things that you can gain from learning some of the things that I teach, for example, but you don't have to be a fully fledged psychic doing readings and off to markets and all that kind of stuff at the end. You don't have to, but if you want to, you've got the skills to learn it. So I mean, to do it, I mean, teach it yourself.
Okay, cool. So it's something that if you weren't interested in looking at different things, it's probably not an innate quality that's in you anyway, so it doesn't matter. But for those that are interested and have that kind of spark, it's something where if it's not already really natural to you and just happening, like as in, some people can walk into a room and say, oh, something bad happened in the corner there. It's like, they just see it and feel it. There's no practice there. You just go, okay, cool, show off. Or they're crazy. I don't know. But it's something that you can build as a skill. Like if you've got that innate kind of interest, that you can build off that kind of interest and practice things to test stuff out. Is that right? So
sure, you can learn. So anything you learn, like you might be interested in something, but you need to go actually learn more about it and practice to get better at something. So if you really want to learn and you really want to get good at something, you practice it. That's what you do. So just practice a skill. Some other signs of things that you would know that you've got this interest or ability that you could develop on is like mini predictions, like you're thinking about somebody and then they call and you just talk coincidence or something, or you get goosebumps when someone's telling you like a story, or you're telling a story, like you might get goosebumps. It's like, oh, that's weird. It's like, oh, that gave me goosebumps. You know how many times we hear ghost stories or something and you get goosebumps? It's not because you got this fear. It's just like something in your body is just going, pay attention. I get goosebumps as a confirmation that whatever I'm saying is.
You get it all the time.
Yeah, I get.
You're often like
about this.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You're always getting it.
It's like a shake it off, or So it's like the confirmation. So some people might be more feeling stuff. Yeah. So those kind of things are other ways that yeah, there's something there, I know, or you just sense something about someone, your intuition, you feel like something's a bit off. A problem though that some people have, and I love to teach this to people, they think their intuition helped them make a decision and they chose, like say they wanted to go start dating somebody. This is a good example. They're going and they're like, yeah, this one, he or she's fantastic. I reckon they're for me, we're going to give it a go. And then 3 months later, it sort of crashes and burns. And they're like, they treat them like crap, or something bad happens, or they cheat on them or something. And they're like, oh my God, I was totally off. My intuition is stuffed up. What was I thinking? Made a mistake. No. Perhaps that was supposed to be a lesson to teach you something. So your intuition guided you to that relationship, even though it didn't end how you expected, and you didn't live happily ever after and have 20 kids and get married. You were supposed to learn something from that relationship about your boundaries or values, or what you want and what you don't want, and what are you going to put up with and what you're not, and who you are as a person. Like so many things you could have learned from that relationship, which prepared you for the next one. So if you missed that one, then maybe you would have not learnt your lessons, which didn't get you set up right for the next person who is your perfect person.
Yeah.
So you had to, your intuition was correct in guiding you there. So people think that intuition only leads to positive, happy, wonderful things all the time, which isn't true. You are supposed to learn things, and life is supposed to be messy and complicated, and get heartbroken, and things go wrong sometimes, so you grow.
Yeah, and if you're comfortable all the time, you won't grow, because if we're comfortable, we naturally want to stay that way. You know, you've got to have something to kind of push you.
What a waste. Like, it just feels like a waste of a life.
Is that the same kind of thing with manifestation? I know we talk about it too much, but is that the same kind of thing with manifestation? Like if you try and manifest something and it doesn't work, do you chalk that down to, I'm just crap at manifestation, or I didn't want it enough, or I didn't do enough Hail Marys, or whatever the hell you're doing to manifest something? Or is it that what you're manifesting was maybe either too superficial or not in line with your
all of that
correct path? Okay.
There could be a lot of that stuff, and it can be.
So there's a lot involved.
Yeah, because I've manifested things that have taken me a couple of years.
Okay. So it could be impatient as well.
Could be impatient, or you could be not trusting that it's going to happen. So you keep asking for the same thing over and over again. The universe is like, are you going to trust me or not? I'm working on it. But every time you ask the same question, like every day, it's like
you're not ready for it.
Yeah, so maybe you're not you're going to let go of the outcome of how it's supposed to happen. Maybe some people micromanage what they're manifesting, because we get told you need to be specific, and then someone else will say, leave it open because more possibilities can come along. So I kind of say both. So be specific about what you want, but not how it happens. Because if you say, for example, you want to manifest more money, and you think, I need more clients. I need more clients to manifest more money. You've just closed the door to manifesting money in a bunch of other ways besides clients. You're saying you only get it by clients, and then what, you're manifesting too many clients, so you're going to be exhausted and, you know.
And without getting woo-woo, that's like quite a practical thing as well, because it's your mindset. So you've shut off something else with your mindset. So it doesn't even have
like
to be.
You've got these blinkers on, and that's the only way. So
okay.
I add on the end of my manifesting, may this or something better come along.
Okay.
Something I haven't thought of, or I'm excited to see what the universe comes up with, or just trusting that the great things will happen. But then you have to notice little signs along your way and go act on them, not just wait for the money to sprinkle through your ceiling or something.
Yep.
Or for the ticket to come through. You got to do things still.
Well, the same kind of thing can happen with someone that automatically gets a whole lot of money, even with the right intentions. They could blow the whole thing like really easily because they didn't work for it or understand it, or get it. So
they might be great at making it, but not keeping it. So they spend it too fast. So then there's other things you want to manifest about being better with your money, contracting it and holding on to it. But if you hold on to it too tight, then you've got this desperation that you're never going to get more. So then you won't attract more. Like there's so many, so much to learn.
Yeah. All right. So back to being psychic then, because I guess manifestation's part of it. We should maybe just go to like, what is psychic then? You know, what classifies someone to say that they're psychic?
You're a psychic. Yeah, I kind of call psychic an umbrella term. Like my course I've called the Optimistic Psychic Development course.
Okay, yeah.
So it's about, but it's developing your psychic abilities. So there's like the different clairs. Like we've all heard of clairvoyant. That's the main one.
You can see.
Yeah,
something.
inner seeing. So that's with your
Yep.
third eye, or what seems to be like your imagination that's seeing it in there. Not
Mhm.
with your physical eyes out in front of you. And that's what people can get confused by. They think they have to physically see it, and then they think they're not doing it right. So that's clairvoyant. But that
Mhm.
kind of covers everything as well. People like say you're a clairvoyant or a psychic. It kind of means the same thing to me.
Mhm.
I say the same. I say I'm a psychic now because clairvoyance is one of the clairs that I can do, but I can do, well, most of them work. You can just practice. Some people say, you have a main clair and then there's other clairs. Well, I kind of don't believe that either, because again, practice any of them and you'll get better
okay.
at it. You just
Yeah.
need to practice and trust.
It's like I'm good at math, I'm bad at English. It's like we'll spend
Yes.
more time doing English and you'll be good at English as well.
You just say it's just
Yeah.
again with anything.
Okay.
You say this is your best one, and it will say your best.
Okay.
You say I can do any of them, you'll start getting signs and messages for all of them.
Okay.
Track what
Okay.
you so
Okay.
there's also like clair sentience, clair audience. I think clair sentience is the feeling. I always forget which one's which. Clair audience, audio, hearing.
Oh, I thought it was just you can see like a whole lot of people clapping along the way as you're going through life. Sorry.
What?
Clear crowd, clear audience. I don't know.
No.
Bad joke. Move on. We're
No.
losing listeners. Okay. So
Remember that smelling, there's a smelling one because you can, so sometimes you might, some of the times they combine. Say with mediumship, somebody will tune in, or even not even a medium, just thinking of a loved one, and you smell the cologne that they used to wear, or you smell. I get this one a lot. I
think that's clairsentience as well. If you're using your senses to notice something, so you could feel it, or you
maybe
smell
the smelling's got a different name.
different one.
Just
Okay.
when it comes to me,
Got
someone put in the comments when they're watching this. So the smelling one's smelling like something else. So I often smell cigarette smoke, and I know there's nowhere around me and I'm like, oh, who's visiting? Or I can tell if it's a cigar or a pipe or a cigarette. So
Okay.
sign that someone's around me, or cooking, something they used to cook, or I know. You just know that someone's there.
When you say someone, you mean someone from the other
spirit.
side.
Yeah,
Yep, gotcha.
So if you're thinking of a loved one and then you can smell something like that relates to them, then you might go,
okay.
the confirmation that it's them. It's not the imagination. Or hearing. Sometimes I've heard lots of stories of people like they might be driving, and then I know this is when Archangel Michael actually kicks in, because he's a protective angel. And he helps you. He's the one that interjects even without permission, where the other ones you need to like communicate with them and ask them for help, or he jumps in. Like if you're driving, and I know someone has done this, and they went to overtake when they shouldn't have, and he said, no, go back, like really like loud in their ear. They felt it, and they did, and they just missed getting hit by a car. So things like that.
Wow.
Like overwhelming. Someone will yell, you hear stop, but there's no one around. You're like, where did that come from? So that's hearing it loud and clear. That's clairaudience. But you might clairaudience is also just hearing someone say your name, and you're like, in the middle when you're waking up. Spirit just heard my name, things like that. So the verbal, you're actually hearing something.
So you can respect that as like maybe a psychic sign as well. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. All those little things that I know people listening, watching, will have some of these things that have happened to them before, and they're like, oh. So it's actually something you can develop. So develop any of them.
Okay.
They're all part of it. There's more.
And it's but a strong one for you is that claircognizant. So
the cognizance is in a knowing.
Cognizance, sorry.
And cognizance, like cognitive. See, that's how your brain, you kind of remember it that way.
Yeah.
Just things pop in my head. So I think that's just from like tapping into like the Akashic records, or just that all knowing something. The information's all out there in the universe for us to access.
Like a collective wisdom.
Yeah. So I call it, I'm channeling. That's when I say I'm channeling or downloading information. Claircognizance is just falling into my head. Like if I see it as a picture in my head, like a scene from a movie or something like that, or I'm seeing pictures, I just know they're there. That's clairvoyance.
Okay.
So there's different clairs, and that any of those or a combination or one is being psychic, using those for your abilities, using those abilities to help give guidance to someone. It's intuition, but using it in a productive way or strengthening it. So we can all just have general intuition, which that helps us make decisions, turn left or right. Just common sense kind of stuff, but trusting like what pops in your head, not questioning it and overthinking it, and debating, just going with it. So we all have intuition, and just trusting it's a whole other thing. So learning to trust it and be okay with that, whatever feels right for you.
So people can test some of these things and maybe trust some stuff as long as it's safe to do so. So like, don't be driving and go, did I hear turn right instantly? And then just turn right. But but in a safe way, you can test some of these things by just kind of trusting it and going with it to see where it goes, to see whether it's imagination or not.
That's right. You can do online course. You can find a mentor that can teach you. You can do I used to do little practice because I used to follow like all different kind of psychic pages on Facebook and things tonight. And sometimes I remember they would put like 3 cups upside down and they'd put a crystal under one of them, and they'd have a little game like, practice your psychic senses, which cup has a crystal, and we'll reveal the answer tomorrow. Things like that.
Cool.
And practice that way. And I would get it wrong sometimes, but then I got better. I just kept at it and kept practicing. Or what's in this box? It's a crystal. What kind is it? What color is it? So first I'd get the color right, but wouldn't know the name. And then eventually, as I got better and I practiced those games, I could tell you the name and the color.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to, like at the start, to get things wrong. It doesn't mean that you're not psychic. It just means you're not tapping into the psychic power you have, or
like you're learning that
imagination instead, or
like I noticed when an example for my brother years ago, when I was first sort of learning and getting all excited about my abilities, I did a little reading for him and his fiance at the time, and I said, I can see that I saw an image in my head of them holding a baby on their wedding day. I thought, so I just said what I saw, and I said, so I reckon you'll have a baby ready on your wedding day. And they're like, oh no, we're not planning to get pregnant before we get married. We're going to space that out a little bit. So no. And then when it was like 9 or 8 months before their wedding, they said, oh, you must have got that one wrong because we're not pregnant, so that won't happen, that it will be there. I'm like, oh, okay, oh well, got that one wrong. Wonder what that meant. And I thought, maybe there's different things. Like, so maybe the message was I had to learn. I realized now that I had to learn to ask questions. When I saw that image,
then you presumed what that meant.
I presume what it meant. So since then I learned that they could have given them the heads up that if you aren't careful, you have the potential that you'll have a baby on your wedding day. So me telling them could have made sure they were more careful to stop it from happening. That kind of sounds like getting it wrong, but when you get card readings and stuff, they tell you the outcome of what can happen. But if you don't like that answer, you can decide to change the outcome. You just make sure you don't do those things that would lead you to that outcome. So that's kind of what that's about. So it could have prevented them from getting pregnant, having the baby there. In saying that, they found out that not long after the wedding that they were actually pregnant at the wedding.
Oh, wow.
Which was like a week or so after or something like that. Pregnant then and they didn't know yet. So when I saw the image, I could have said, does that mean just because I saw a baby in their arms, maybe the way it presented to me wasn't showing me a baby in the womb or something. They just showed me the baby in the arms, so it was easy for me to understand. But I could have said, oh, does that mean they'll have a baby or they'll be pregnant, or like learn to ask questions? Or maybe we just delayed it because I wanted to be more careful. I don't know.
Okay, cool.
I learned, so I wasn't too spot on then, but then I wasn't sure. So
what you did know for sure is that you saw an image of them with a baby in their arms at the wedding day. That's all you knew.
Yes.
Outside of that was just guess game. Like, it means you can have a baby. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it means you could have a baby. It doesn't mean that. It means that, someone else's baby. No, it doesn't. Like it.
Exactly. And the statistics would say, well, if people get married, of course, you likely that's the next step for so many couples is they might have babies and stuff. So which makes sense. It's just that I know that that's what I saw in my head, and the image was so clear that it was on their wedding day. So I thought it was like, oh, giving you a heads up that you might have a baby on your wedding day, so be prepared. Yeah. But I realized later I could have learned to ask more questions. So your gifts develop over time. And I look back on that as a stepping stone rather than being embarrassed, like, oh, I stuffed up, I got it wrong. It wasn't. It could have been that I helped prevent them, and maybe they were more careful because I told them, or maybe that was actually meant that they'd be pregnant at the wedding day, not actually have the full-blown baby. But that's just how I saw it. So learning to not just assume things when you see them. I've made other little mistakes over time that evolved into different things, and I just learned to ask questions. And because that often happens, something pops in your head and you go, oh, that must be it, or that's weird. But you can ask questions, you can play, you can do lots of things with the information that pops into your head when you're telling.
I'm gonna come back to that because it's really cool, because I think there's a whole lot of wisdom with having don't know mind. So the idea that you know what you know, and there's a whole lot of stuff that you just do not know. And so as soon as we kind of fool ourselves to fill in the gaps as if that's knowledge and not just filling in the gaps, is where we can find ourselves in trouble the deeper we go with stuff. So that it shows a little bit of wisdom then as well with the psychic gifts, that you've got that kind of don't know mind where you can say, I'm seeing this, and then allowing the person to say, oh, wow, this means that, or what could that mean? And you could kind of guess what it means. But this is interesting. You can actually ask, who are you asking and what are you asking?
Well, I'm asking, so you can say, who's telling me this information in the first place? I don't know. Is it, I used to always say, I don't know if it's my guides or my higher self or their higher self, if it's for them. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Some people say it's their angels and guides. I feel like it's all connected to the one big thing. Just could be the universe, could be God, could be your own higher self telling you all the information. It doesn't really matter where it's coming from.
That bit's above our pay grade. Like, what is it exactly? It's like, well, we're here, so how could we say what it is? We probably couldn't say it even if we knew.
So you can ask questions. And that's the fun bit. And I learned about the asking question things when I learned how to do past life healing and release for other people, because I'd see a scene in my head and then you're like, okay, why am I being shown this for them? Or can I fast forward to another day that's important? Or can I zoom in on that because I can't see it properly? So when you start asking and playing around, you can do that. It just happens. So you're like, oh, that's easy. I just had to ask. If you don't know that, you don't know that you can ask. So
it's like, you know, you can have really cool tools as a tradesperson, but if you don't know how to use them properly, it's going to be hard to do a really good job. Same kind of thing with psychic. So like, not so much questioning the psychic stuff that's coming through, but more questioning how you're using it as to whether or not it's going to be accurate or effective.
That's right. Like, give me more information if you don't understand. And then people expect that when they ask a question, like, you know, when you pray or you ask God a question, they expect the answer to come in a sentence loud in their ear. Like, yeah, but they don't answer. Like, the answers come in different ways. I think the whole point of being a psychic or openly intuitive or just being aware of this stuff is that the answers and signs can't be really smack you in the face obvious all the time, because then we're not learning to notice the little things. That's part of it. It's learning to stop and be more present and aware and notice small stuff, because if you're just waiting for the big thing, you're focused on other things and you need something else to slap you in the face to get your attention because you're so busy doing 20 other things. So it makes us slow down, stop and smell the roses. Just be more present and enjoying life. And when you're walking, notice the weeds growing out of the cracks and you know, the sign that might give you about resilience. And like, there's so many different little things that you might not pick up when you're just focused on the phone call you're having as you're walking or something. Like, there's little signs, and that helps us just be more mindful, grounded. What else?
So being so the act of being psychic is focusing your awareness on a more subtle level.
Yeah.
So you're bringing your awareness into a more subtle level, which is a very kind of calm.
I haven't even thought about it like that. So you're just noticing more things, because like when you're doing a card reading, it's not just about the card you draw and then you read the book. There's what are your eyes drawn to when you look at the card. I use the same cards. I've been using them for years, and still now sometimes I'll draw it and I notice something in the picture that I actually don't even remember seeing before.
Yeah.
I know these cards so damn well. How can I notice something new? Or
Wow.
you just because your eye gets drawn to something at the time you're looking at it, and it's relevant to the question. So what are you guided to? What do you hear during the reading? Or something else that gets your attention? Like, it's not always, there's other things at play. So you got to pay attention to lots of things. So you're building up like a sensitivity, I guess. You're learning to notice.
So your awareness isn't going to be on something that's going to smack you in the face anyway, because your awareness is on this more subtle nature where you pick up. Yeah, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone could get that, right?
Yeah, it's too easy. Well, and you're not learning it. It's just too easy. Like it's too easy. You're at kindergarten. Earth is more like university, not kinder.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit hard. So we actually learn and grow. Like that's why we keep coming back here, because it gets us evolved as much, you know. We get evolved faster, I suppose, because we're doing the hard classes. If you want to do you could do one, say example, one life on Earth is like university, as opposed to 30 lives on some other planet that's like kinder. We get you the same amount of lessons.
Okay. Okay. So can we all just feel better that, like, you know, at least we're doing the hard yards by being, even if we're doing a shit job, you're doing a really hard test, so don't worry about it.
Still stumbling your way through uni and trying to get shit done and see how you go.
I was going to bring back to that kind of bringing your awareness to a subtle level, so away from the obvious and into a subtle level, to find those signs and tune into that other world that communicates on that more subtle level. One of the hardest things about don't know mind and practicing don't know mind is to push away a lot of desires. I know I find sometimes going into things like, I want to be able to, you know, blah, 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 you know, and you can get like that, I'm sure, if you're practicing being a psychic. It's like, I want to sit down with this person who's really interested in, you know, her grandma. I want to sit down with her and see her grandma there and feel her grandma there.
Stuff like that.
That's not don't know mind, because what's going to happen is there's going to be all these subtle things that are going to be incredible information that's above your pay grade. You don't know how it's linked or how it's important. And you'll miss the whole thing because you're looking for grandma, because the client said, I want to do a session with you because I want to speak to my grandma.
Yes. And so
don't know mind is sitting down going, okay, what's here?
Yeah.
And then not filling the dots to go, oh, I smell this. That must be your grandma's cooking. Like you stuffed up. It's like, I smell this. And then going from there.
Maybe that the goal is that that's what they need. They feel like that's how they'll feel better, and they just know that she's okay and they want to connect with her. But there's actually their higher self might have a better idea of what they need in the session. So if I'm just only focusing on their grandma and getting that coming through for them, because I'm a medium.
And you want a good hit.
Yeah. And I want to go and to do well, and I want to look good for me.
Yeah.
So I don't get embarrassed because I'm thinking about myself then and not them.
Yeah.
So I'm just focusing on my client. Yes, they're saying they need this. And this is even with coaching, hypnotherapy, all modalities. They think they're booking in for something and they say that's what they want, but you leave it open that, yes, of course you want to give them what they want if that's what comes through. But there could be something else that they actually
be honest with it.
Yeah, there might be more that comes through. So I connect with their higher self to show me what else they need. And there might be other things that grandma might be the little part of it, but there's actually way more underneath it. Why do they feel they need to connect with grandma? What is missing? Like there's so many other questions and other healing and things that we could do in that session. So yeah, keeping an open mind to what else might possibly come through as well, without just
pushing away any desire you might have and literally just seeing things for what they are, and then
that's important, because
in the gaps. There's
so many psychics out there that are in it just for them. They're thinking
it's hard to be fair though. That's hard to be honest.
It would be,
because you are see, I still have a thing where I've had, so in my experience in dealing with psychics like you. Oh my gosh, this is my last show. It's going to be psychic, and it's going to be Tony and the psychic next week. You'll find someone else. No. In working with psychics or speaking with psychics or people of that nature, like I've often had a lot of people say, oh wow, you're a really powerful healer, or I see a whole lot of healing stuff with you. it's really hard for me because all I hear is someone saying something nice for a couple of reasons.
Like we said before.
Like one, yeah, exactly. But like one, are they saying it because maybe I come across as a nice person and they want to kind of share that and say something nice for me because they like me, like nothing sinister, just, you know, say something nice that's kind of general and there's no way I can test that. Do you know what I mean? It's a very open comment. Or is it, you know, something where, you know, if they say something, you know, powerful woo-woo about me, then I might like that and like even subconsciously and then respect what they have to say. Because if I don't respect it, then I don't respect that I'm a special healer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think you're giving us way too much credit that we overthink and plan all this stuff instead of just being intuitive.
Yeah, right.
Unless they are in it for the wrong reasons and they aren't from a heart center space and they are doing it for them.
Yeah. Then you would just give good news, wouldn't you?
No, like, usually those people don't know. It's the opposite.
Oh,
notice those people usually give bad news, looming things, and then they give you, oh, by the way, I can take away that curse or cure or fix that problem for you. Cost this money.
Because if you're amazing and shiny, you don't need me anyway. So on your way. So
you're attracting, what kind of psychic you're attracting? And maybe you've attracted a lesson. It wasn't your intuition that was wrong, taking you to that psychic and booking in. It was just a lesson for you to guide you so you can tell the difference. And then you meet someone who's shiny and heart-centered, then you know the difference, you know they're for real.
Ah, okay, yeah.
I know that has happened with me with a lot of clients I've seen bad or fake or egotistical healers or psychics.
What are signs where, what are like some red flags if someone's seen a psychic, professional psychic? What are some red flags where it's, you know, again, don't know mind, not saying necessarily you know, but like where a flag goes up and you're like, be careful.
Ones for me personally that have been flags because I had seen a lot, and that's a sign too of that you might be a psychic.
Interesting. Yeah.
Go get readings and
so focused on it. Gotcha.
And I'm interested, and I've had plenty of reading, mini ones and big ones, and
so you probably are if you're listening to this show a lot.
Yeah, if you're listening to the show, I dare say you're interested in done this before and you have abilities that could grow.
Okay, cool.
So I'd been to his one mini one that I went to, for example. She got me to choose a crystal and I had to hold the crystal.
Hang on, mini one, she was short? Or...
Like mini, she was a dwarf. No, I just insulted dwarfs. It was a mini reading like at a fair where you book in for a 15-minute one or something. That's what I mean by mini. She got me to hold this crystal and then she closes her eyes. She's met me. She didn't ask me many questions, but she met me and she closed her eyes. She's focusing. Her eyes are flickering. It's all very interesting. I was like, ooh. And I was 19, quite young. I purposely, and I must have followed my own intuition, then I didn't realize I was engaged and I took off my engagement ring before I sat down with her. Don't know why I felt like I should do that. I didn't want to give her any hints about anything maybe, but I wasn't being skeptic. I just did it. So again, intuition might have helped me with this lesson.
Yeah.
And she's reading and she's saying, you know, I'm obviously I'm young, didn't have a ring on. She's stereotyped me in this reading. You're going to travel around the world and be with many different partners before you settle down and decide to commit to anybody. You're going to do this and do that. And she's telling me all this stuff. And at the end of it, she's like, so how did all that resonate with you? I said, not a single thing did. It was quite strange. I'm actually engaged. I've committed and settled down. I've only had one serious partner before that. We're not planning to travel for a while because we're saving for a house. So I'm really confused at where you got all that from. She was like flabbergasted. Like nothing made sense. It was all wrong. So that was a big red flag for me. I just saw I don't know if she might have been a psychic, but she was just off her game that day, or is because there's lots of other healers and readers around and there's too much going on, or she just hopeful wishes she was one and she just stereotypes people and tries to take money. Like she could have just had, could have been doing it on purpose and lying and cheating. I don't know which one it was, but that was a red flag for me. Other ones, I've heard lots of stories of people have seen a psychic and they've come to me and told me that they got told about horrible things that have happened to them in a past life, and then they never healed it or clear it. They just told them about it. That they've gone to see one and they've told them that they've got a curse, curses and evil spirits around them and horrible things and on them and all this negative stuff. And then it's like a pitch oh, we don't have time to do that today though. So next, like if you want, I can also clear this for you, or you can purchase this off me, hang this from your house. Oh, I happen to sell them this thing to fix the problem, and you can do this and book in for 3 more sessions, that kind of stuff. They're upselling you.
It's a good way to upsell. Hang up your level 4 Dreamcatcher. Level 4 Dreamcatcher. Oh, well, I've got some at the front.
Yeah.
You know, that's great. It's a good way to upsell.
Also,
So if you feel like you're being upsold, it's probably
upsold, but like, so I've upsold before, but I try to explain, you know, and you can tell, I suppose, the difference between someone who's genuine and not. I'm like, oh, I usually, and this is honest though, I usually say, I don't mean to promote myself. I do this, but you can go to someone else who does this also. I know some other people, like I always promote other people too. So it's not just me you have to come to. I say wherever you're guided, or if you feel you need to come back. I don't say you have to come back for 3 more sessions.
Yeah.
Because there's vulnerable people, and they say, how many more times should I come for the other stuff I need? It's like whatever you feel is right.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. So I feel like I'm doing it right. I feel like I'm doing it right by saying that. Because being genuine, you're not having to come back to see me. Go where you're guided, trust you, because you want to teach them. That's also another thing that you're with a good psychic, I guess, is they're teaching you how to help yourself, not making you reliant on them. So someone who's coming from a not so honest place might say something like that they can do this thing, they've recognized it, or you have to do things in a certain way, their way, because that's also not true.
Any kind of helper, like any kind of like even in psychology or whatever, you know, that's probably a red flag as well, because they're just trying to get a long-term client rather than help you go through. So it could be anyone
disagree with something they said and you say you're not sure, and they argue with you, so no, I'm right. Like they're really, like, it's an ego narcissistic kind of thing to say, you know, where there's no flexibility in there anywhere of your insights. They're just telling you how it is. Like
going with the ring, taking the ring off. So I've heard psychics say that they just have no time for people coming really skeptical and don't want to answer any questions they have. So like, you know, and it's like these are psychics that have done this sort of thing for a while, like mediums I'm talking about, where they've done it for a while, and they just don't have time for when they say, oh, there's someone older in your family. Could it be like, is it a grandma or a grandpa that's passed? And the person goes, I don't know. And they go, oh, okay, you're playing that game. All right, I don't need to be tested. Cool, you can leave. Like, because I just get like, is that something where like being tested a little bit, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like,
I love skeptical clients. They're my favorite.
Testing? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
If they're intentionally being, it depends on their attitude. If they're being a jerk about it, then I've got no time for them. But if they're like testing and they're kind of cheeky and smug and sitting there like this, and I just love it, because then I just blow their brains and they're like, oh, crap. They might not even admit it in the session, but I know, because I know what I'm channeling's right, and I know. You shift, you know that it made sense to them.
So if there's a whole lot of rules that maybe a psychic's giving you, and like you've got to fill out a form before you see them, and it's got everything including your blood type in it, that might be a bit of a
you're asking too many questions, like too much information base. I don't know, I've never met one that's done that before, but I'm sure they're out there. Some people get skeptical of having online readings because they feel like, well, they could just go look at my Facebook page and then see that I've got kids in my profile photo.
They're busy.
I've heard that a lot. I've questioned myself, thinking when I've had someone connect with me online, I'm like, I don't want to look at their page. I've got to make sure so nothing clouds, and I know that everything I'm saying is completely channeled and I'm not seeing it.
So it's a way for you testing yourself as well. Testing.
I want to make sure.
Is this memory or is this information?
But I'm sure it's tempting to others to go look just to help validate things, and so but don't do that. Don't do that. Because then you're just cheating. It's like cheating on a test. You did well just because you cheated. Like, what's the point? Like,
okay,
don't do that. Learn to trust your own abilities and be confident with what you can do.
Awesome.
Just practicing. And if it doesn't hit, if it doesn't hit home to someone where they don't resonate with what you're saying, it's okay, because sometimes whether it's mediumship or just you talking about something in their life that you're picking up, that's okay. They might not realize at the time, because there's a lot. You're selling all this stuff, it's spinning around their head, and they might not remember something straight away. They might have to go away later and go, oh, actually, yeah, that what she said does make sense. Like, but they didn't say it at the time, or they didn't make sense to them, and they might never figure out what you said. But when you trust your intuition completely, you know it doesn't matter if they don't get it. You know what you saw. It's fine. Like, just be okay with they're not being sure. It's like, so I would say something like, this is what I teach people when I'm teaching how to become psychic. Just say, it's okay, I'll leave that with you and you might figure it out later. And again, that does sound like, I can see the skeptic view might sound like it's a, you know, just an excuse for maybe getting it wrong. Well, if you believe that, you wouldn't be, if you think like that, you probably wouldn't be going to see a psychic, because you are so skeptical and question everything. Like a medium who, I know mediums find it easier to do their readings with all the love in the room, because your crossed over loved ones are drawn to that energy. So if they're sitting there like, I don't know, and being really like closed off about it, they're not going to be able to do a good job in their reading, and it's not their fault. It's the person the reading's fault, because they're being closed and they're not welcoming in the energy of their loved one. They're not thinking of them, they're closing it off. So the energy doesn't come through as good. The more open, the clearer the messages are.
So with a psychic reading, then is it kind of two ways? Is it like the person has to really connect and be open?
You got to be willing to be there. You paid. So I would say sometimes, you know, I might get a really overexcited wife if she wants to bring her husband along and thinks he'll really benefit. I'm like, okay, as long as he agrees and he's happy, you don't drag him kicking and screaming. Yeah. Because if he has to be dragged, it's not going to
be the wrong energy.
Get through. I might have not because I might have a harder time helping him, but he'll still get something out of it. But as Fly might be feeling like I'm hitting a brick wall because he's closed off and doesn't want to be there. So if you're not open, the energy is going to be a bit tougher. Anyway, but then of course they're skeptic about it in the first place, and then they'll blame the psychic for being crap. Because, you know, it just goes around like that. So again, that could be why people have had issues in the past if they felt not confident. I've had, you know, still I've been doing this for years and I'm super confident with my abilities and channeling and messages and stuff. Very occasionally I will get someone and I feel like nothing's getting through, but not everyone seems as receptive. Just because they're not chatty doesn't mean it's not sinking in and they're not processing. They're all different. So they might listen to the recording later and then they don't message you and tell you that, oh, it really made sense and that was awesome. You don't know.
Yeah.
Be great if they did come back to you and let you know, but you don't know. So, but you'd find out later. I'll find out 6 months later when they've referred someone to me and I'm like, really? Oh, I didn't even think they liked the session. That was okay, cool. So you just got to go with it and yeah.
So you've got to trust that no matter what, it's what needs to happen, whether you look bad or not. It's just about being really honest. And because I think, when you make it about yourself, then you get in the way of what's happening, I suppose, don't you? And you lose that don't know mind, because now you've got something to lose. So
you're worrying about your reputation instead of the well-being of the client and what they're getting out of it, and if you've helped them. And if something's above your pay grade, so this is for people that are interested in doing this work too. Something's above your pay grade, you feel like, what if you're new to it and you're not used to negative entities and evil spirits, all that kind of stuff, for example. You've never experienced that, you don't know what to do with it. If someone presents you with that, saying they've been told that that's been a problem for them, or they feel that around them, or you sense something really dark or something around them for whatever reason, and you're not sure how to handle it, refer them on to somebody more advanced that you know and trust and think will do a good job, or go ask someone for advice and how you could help them maybe in another session, or don't try to, or refer them to, no, it doesn't have to be another psychic, it could be something else, another modality.
It could be like the church or something like that when it comes to spirits. Those things can,
exactly. So don't try to do things you're not sure, because you could be messy or dangerous, or it's not for the greater good of the client. You need to, that's why it's really nice to have a network and get to know different kinds of people and different modalities. Learn who you can contact when you need a bit of help as well, because we don't know everything.
And that certainly helps your credibility as well as a psychic. It's that you're able to refer out to things that you're not 100% sure of, or not 100% comfortable with. Or haven't
practiced as much and
or someone that's like really specific on it. That's their niche, and you're like, oh well, they're going to do it heaps better.
And you could ask them afterwards how it went, not without the personal details, but you say, so if I have that again, can you give me any tips? Like, ask for a little bit of mentoring. You can ask for advice and help, and always be willing to learn and grow, and don't act like you know everything. Right. Yeah.
Lovely. There's a real wisdom to that, and it's great because it allows people to not have to subscribe to a certain belief. It's just well, this is what this person sees, and if you don't accept it, that's cool. That's nice.
I'm comfortable with that now. I used to question everything and not sure if I got it right or it made sense. And eventually I just kept getting tested in that area, and eventually I just practice. And now I can do more in a session for a client than in an hour than I used to, like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago. I think how long I've been doing this for?
Mhm.
10 years. I can do much more in that time now because you're not questioning, and the insecurities aren't there. So you can just move on and get lots done. So
Awesome.
and actually reminds me, I was thinking that before, and it just popped back in my head. We were talking about how some people do this all their lives from childhood and they've been doing it for years, and then some learn later, like myself, and then the people I teach. You get what you're ready for.
Okay.
So I know that in the, say, 10 years, 8 years that I've been doing this, I've learned more in that time than some people have learned all their lives. They've been doing it for 40 years. But then other people that have been doing it 40 years have that experience that they've been doing it, and they might be ahead of me in 60 years worth of knowledge, like, or in 40 years. So everyone's different. It's not a competition. You just go where you're guided to. But just because you learn it later in life, like I've mentored someone in their 80s, doing amazing and learning all this stuff. And now she's just started a spiritual business and doing things like,
Oh, wow.
Cool, go for it. Who cares?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I said, the cheeky wisdom is that people look at you and just assume you've been doing this for the
Exactly.
life.
Yeah, there's benefits to that.
But she'll also learn exactly what she's ready for and attract the right clients for her. So she'll just keep learning, and things might come to her thick and fast because she's ready for it. So it doesn't matter. So she'll get all that knowledge in a shorter time period than she would have if she had been doing it all her life. So, and then just because you might go get a psychic reading and you meet someone who's 20, don't assume that means they're really not good at it and haven't been around the block. I know and have had lots of experience, because they might have been doing it since I was 6 and be really good.
Yeah.
Or learned heaps in the last 2 years. So
yeah,
definitely don't judge a book by its cover in that way.
Yeah, wow, amazing. So do you see some people with these kind of, I don't know, I guess you call them spiritual gifts, psychic gifts? Do you think a lot of these ones that start as kids maybe had unfinished business in a past life, and so it's just like carried on, so they've got more time with these gifts to do things? Or
probably for some of them, I reckon it's so because they would usually say these things to their parents. To their parents to either shut them down so they've got a great imagination, or nurture it for them and help them go, oh, that's interesting, wonder why you see that, or ask questions, or so that it depends on the parents of which kind of parents they chose, whether they're going to nurture them or shut it down. And I also think it's good because we hear these kind of stories all the time of children that remember past lives and things like that, or children with amazing abilities that are like a prodigy and can play the violin like a master at 4. Is that carrying over from a past life for the skills, so they can make people think all the past life thing and they just know? Is that just to wake people up when they hear these little stories? That could be, that's that kind of stuff I would hear about when I was younger and think, that what got me thinking, there must be more to life. If someone's remembering, why would a 3-year-old talk about their life when they were a parent and how many kids they had and things like that? Just makes sense. So there must be something in that. So it gets you curious, and for the right people hearing that helps them investigate, and that's another stepping stone to then they go buy some oracle cards, or then they go see a psychic, or then they go learn a course. Because woke us up a little bit.
So I guess the message is to whatever sparks that passion or that interest or that bit inside that makes you really curious and excited, like follow that rabbit hole, but do it honestly. Like don't do it because you want a certain thing. Do it like with a curious mind and honestly to see what you can find.
Yeah.
So that it's open to what's really there, rather than, I really want, fairies to be an important part of my life. It's like, okay, cool. And then,
what are the reasons? If your reasons are just to get famous or make lots of money, because you think it's a good way to make money, or just have magic in your
power.
Power. I was like, what else? What else was a kind of more of a selfish reason, I guess. But like, it won't end well. You'll crash and burn somehow. It won't be great, or you'll attract negative clients, or it won't be all sunshine and roses for you. So just make sure your heart's in the right place. This is with any decision in your life. Are you going to be like, I only want to do this to help people? help and teach, and so they can be abundant and happy and figure out that there's more to life and just have more things to look forward to than just waking up, going to work, coming home, going to bed.
Or just be honest, like I really want to make a lot of money. Like money excites me. It's like, okay, cool, just do that honestly.
But maybe
and know that you just want to make a lot of money. It's cool.
Yeah. Then what do you want to do with that money? So I'd still have a
could be for selfish reasons, but at least you're honest. I think it's just really hard when you're not honest with something. If you then say, "Oh, I'm doing this for other people," but you're not. That's always going to end badly.
Is that's fine if you want to do it for that reason, but you might attract clients that are aligned in that. So then you're going to be surrounded by those kinds of people. So if you want to be surrounded by love and good intentions and good people that are of service, and then you would do it for that reason. If you want to just be surrounded by money moguls or whatever you call them, and like that kind of it, you will, but it might have some negative connotations if that's all they care about and not helping people. So you just attract what you think about. So whatever your reasons are is fine, but be honest, like you said, that's totally cool.
Okay, so either way, whether you're conscious or not, you're manifesting.
I just
so just be careful what you're manifesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get a reading from someone who's just in it for the money, because I wouldn't trust
power.
Them.
Yeah, because you'll get in the way.
Channeling from here. They're not channeling from love. So I don't think that's a good idea to get.
So if we're going to see, if you're going to see a psychic or an intuitive healer or something like that, is it good for you to be open to like that subtle space as well? Bring your awareness into the subtle space to see how you're feeling around the person.
Yeah, choose. Like people do that when they go to this, like those big festivals. They look at all the pictures on the wall of all the different psychics to choose from, and they look.
That's a good way to practice.
They're guided to have a practice, and then you get your mini reading and see how it went. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't resonate with that at all. Maybe did I really trust my intuition, or maybe it was a lesson, or did I just pick him because they have the same color t-shirt as me and I thought that was fate?
yeah, right.
Like, was I trusting my gut, or just like, just try to have fun with it.
Love it. Cool. All right. Interesting. So there's going to be a whole lot of people now thinking,
lots to think about.
Am I psychic? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And if you're curious, you can have a chat with me to see if you'd like to. If you think I might be the right mentor for you, there's so many great teachers. So I'm doing it now. There's so many great teachers out there. It doesn't have to be me. That's how you.
Yeah, it's who you resonate with, right?
Exactly.
So if you really resonate with this show and Xavier, then contact, and that's cool. Yeah, but, you don't have to. There's other psychics out there that you can learn from. But you got to trust your gut, right? You've got to.
That's part of the first step, I guess, is
how cool.
Trust how you feel, and see. And it might be, you might do the course with me in person or online, and then you think, well, I didn't get as much out of that as I thought I did, and then but it's a stepping stone to something else.
Yeah,
and someone else might do it, and they're like, resonated so much, and they're off doing their psychic business, and that's all they needed.
Yeah, cool.
Everyone's so different. It's exciting. I love assisting people on their journey, and I love when that beautiful moment when they're just like, I didn't think I'd be able to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, it's easier than I thought. Like, I love those moments. That's my favorite part.
I love that. So you're still curious and enjoy it as well. Like enjoy the process of finding out your stuff.
You didn't enjoy it. Like, the heck.
What? You're psychic and you like surprises. Very weird. How ironic.
Surprised me, actually.
The irony. So can we leave people with something? What can people do to practice? What's a really simple thing that everyone can do to practice their psychic skills, where they can practice one thing and then over the time they'll find, they're able to do it better? Like maybe not the thing in the box, or maybe it is a thing in a box. Like what can people do?
I would like to, I prefer to kind of recommend.
Okay, what's safe for people to do? Okay, because practice makes perfect, which I don't think is true. I think perfect practice makes perfect, because you can practice the wrong thing and do a really shit job. So let's go with something that's going to be good, that they don't need too much guidance of to do it properly. Yeah.
Right. So I would like, if you practice, so the whole point is to be a good psychic and to come from a really good place, and to make sure you're channeling from your higher self and not tapping into accidentally something that you shouldn't be.
Okay.
practice connecting your channel, like a mini meditation.
Okay.
And that's one of the first things I teach in my first class, and I've taught all my clients. Just a mini meditation where you're connecting, imagine above and below, connected from the universe and the Mother Earth. And so imagine the red from the earth coming up through your body, coming out to the top of your head, and then the white light coming down. Something simple like that, all the way down through your body, balancing your chakras on the way. You're being grounded and connected. So both ends, not just up here. And yeah, just imagining that connection. You can imagine you're a tree and the roots are coming out of your feet and connecting to the earth. You can do it in any way you want. Again, there's no rules, as long as your intention is that you're connecting. If you just practice that every day, you can spend 10 seconds, you can spend 10 minutes, whatever you like. Just practicing it every day will awaken your intuition so much more. You're taking that time to connect, you're cleansing yourself, you're connecting to your higher self, you're connecting to Mother Earth or Gaia, you're being present. And so you're waking everything up and balancing everything and cleansing your aura, doing that. And you just imagine expanding your heart out to people and healing. Just doing that is going to be make a huge difference to you, because you're putting yourself first as well.
Yeah.
And you're growing your connection with your higher self and the earth. So things will just start happening. If you just did that every day, that's a huge step.
And I imagine doing that, you'll be able to feel a certain stillness. The more you practice it, the more you feel that kind of stillness, and that stillness can be a place where you can bring your awareness into the less obvious. When I say the subtle around, it's like the less obvious, the less of the five senses. It's like, noticing the space in the room rather than the stuff in the room and the walls. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. You're just like, oh, what is the space? What is space? A glass of water, what's holding the water? A glass. It's like, well, no, the space is holding the water, because you move the glass and that space is still there, right? So
I love that. So
it takes up a certain amount of space.
More philosophical.
Yeah, so we can get into that. So okay, I like it. So I had to add to that. Why am I adding to that? Exactly. But that's a thing. Like you can
mindfulness, but it's connecting your channel. So that's a great start. And that's the first thing I teach, and I talk you through my guided version that I learned, that I've tweaked.
But you can do it anyway, right? As long as you're imagining, you're grounding yourself down to the earth, and try and imagine as far down as it can go, and maybe the color red if you can, and then up, and then string up out the cosmos, and that's white.
To the beautiful.
And then sit with that for a bit.
Then down again. Yeah, so both ways.
Beautiful.
Imagine the two lights. I like to say it's like a candy cane or a barber's pole. That's how I had to explain to people.
Okay, barber's pole.
White light coming down, and the red light coming up, and then they don't get in each other's way. They just swirl around, and you're connected, which is about balance. It's above and below.
Okay.
Masculine, feminine. It's your shadow side and your light. Like it's all that duality.
Okay.
Just bringing that balance and connection to your life, and things will just start happening. So that's really a great habit to get into. And all your other little abilities will just increase anyway, naturally, from doing that. But, you don't do it for 3 days and then you can't be bothered anymore. You got to
keep going. Keep going.
Do it every day. Yes.
Love
you don't have to spend hours trying to meditate and focus and not hear anything. You can just do it for 10 seconds. Intention. Yep. Zip, zip, done. Thank you. Your intention is there. You do it. If you want to spend longer with it, to learn to be more mindful and spend more time with yourself and see what pops in your mind as you're doing it, then you'll do it longer.
I would say it's the same thing with meditation. Consistency is going to be more important than quality.
Exactly.
If you can't do much, that's fine. Just always don't do much, and you'll find massive gains. But if you only once a week can sit for an hour in perfect meditation, that's not going to be as good as if you sat for 6 minutes every single day. That's
really good feedback. You should teach meditation, Michael.
I'll do that one day. That's cool. All right. Thank you so much, X. That was wonderful.
That was fun.
Thank you for your time, your brain, and your psychic ability. That's cleared some things up for me. That's cool.
Awesome. And hope for everybody else.
Yeah, cool.
If you have any more questions that we didn't cover, please comment and send us a message so we can address them and I can answer them for you.
Yeah, definitely. We know so many people listen and they have questions afterwards. Chuck it in an email. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. That's it for another episode. Thanks to our major supporter, Subtle Energy Sciences. Click the link in the show notes to access their full product range of quantum healing technology.
We're blown away by this technology and are so excited to share it with you.
And of course, we really want to hear from you.
Please leave your comments on our YouTube channel, or for those podcast listeners, you can email us at nickandthepsychic@gmail.com to leave your feedback or questions.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist and timeline regression therapist. If you wish to contact me to explore the source of an issue you're facing, just book a session at hearnhypnosis.com and include the promo code MATP for 10% off. You can contact me on Insta and Facebook at hearnhypnosis.
Check out my website at optimisticxavier.com.au if you feel you'd like to connect with me as a psychic medium, spiritual mentor, or intuitive coach. Include the promo code MATP for 10% discount. You can also find me on Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
We look forward to connecting with you again next time as we attempt to leave no stone unturned.
Bye.
All right, cool. I reckon that should be okay.